Open enrollment season is about to start, most likely at your employer. So, I want to cover today a couple things for you to think about in order to get prepared for your open enrollment season. Now, most companies end up doing healthcare open enrollment from November 1st all the way through the rest of the month. And so it can feel overwhelming, right? This is typically the startup of a busy time of year. We're getting ready for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it. And now, hey, we also have to make sure we sign up for healthcare. Healthcare is also so overwhelming for many people because it's a pretty hard thing to navigate, right? We don't know what our health needs are going to look like next year. So, as we go into this, just know that you need to make the best decision you can with the information that you have now. Fortunately, we don't have a crystal ball and can't predict what's going to happen next year when it comes to your health. So, we need to make the decision using the information you have. So already try and release some of that anxiety around trying to figure out exactly what you need and the perfect decision. I'm going to give you 3 tips today to walk through in order to help navigate this scene. The first of which is I want you to go through, analyze what coverage you actually used this year. For example, you may have chiropractic coverage on your plan that you might not know you're paying extra for, and that's not something you need. So you can pick a plan that doesn't cover something like that. Also, you may decide in the opposite direction of, hey, I have been sitting at my desk so much this year. I want to make sure I pick a plan next year that includes chiropractic coverage. Not all plans will, so make sure those big priorities that you have are covered when you're picking a plan. Another great example of this is you may have had a surgery this year or need to have one next year. Make sure, to the best of your ability, you are checking to see what doctors and specialists are in your network, what is covered, and also taking a look at the difference between an HMO and a PPO plan, right? This is going to change whether or not you need to get specialist coverage and need to actually have a referral from your primary doctor. And let me tell you, finding a primary doctor these days, at least in the tri-state area, has been challenging. They are all so flooded with appointments right now. I know personally it's been difficult to get an appointment. So if that's something you also need to do before the end of the year and your coverage changes, make sure you're scheduling that now. The second thing I want you to think of and take a look into is, did you use an HSA or an FSA plan this year? A lot of people are paying high deductible plans and think they're going to use this HSA or want to get the benefits from it, but not many people are. So I want you to actually take a look and see, okay, did it really make sense financially for me to pay the higher deductible to have the HSA in terms of the tax benefits? Some people also use an HSA plan in order to have the different tax benefits for retirement, right? Some people will put money into an HSA plan, max it out, and save that money for retirement down the road. However, you may have other options that make more sense for you right now than putting money into a high deductible plan and trying to shovel it away into an HSA. Make sure you sit down with either your financial advisor or yourself and figure out what makes the most sense for where you are right now. In addition, are you using the HSA for products that you actually need or the FSA, or are you just at the end of the year right now and you're trying to spend as much of it as you can? Keep in mind, HSA money you can roll over, FSA money you cannot. I know Amazon has really been pushing lately the HSA and FSA storefront they have on their page in order to get people to spend those dollars. I want you to pause and think, okay, am I just spending these dollars right now because I need to spend the money or I want to spend the money and just get it out of my account? Or are you actually spending them on things that you need and would be buying anyway? And the HSA or FSA dollars are actually being utilized in that way. Take stock of that. And then from there, you can decide, okay, for next year, does it really make sense to keep this going? The answer might be yes. And in that sense, in that case, keep going. And you are on the right direction of picking what works for you. If not, it's okay to change. The third thing I want you to do is take a look at what options have changed in your health provider's options. Your company may have switched providers this year, or whoever they were using may have rolled out different plans. So many people, it's easy to just say, I just hit click and went forward and enrolled into the next thing, kept it going, and didn't make any changes. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's hard to look through everything, but really understanding, or at least attempting to understand what you have, is going to help you out next year. You don't want to get into a situation where you're thinking, oh my goodness, why didn't I change plans? What I could have done better. Instead, take the time now, pause, and go through everything. Now, before we wrap this up, I also want to give you a reminder. If you have a big life-changing event next year happening, for example, marriage, divorce, birth of a child, obviously we can't really predict death, but if somebody on your plan passes away, keep in mind that this is a qualified event. That means in these situations, you are able during a certain time period to reallocate or rechange your health benefits. There we go. There's the word I was looking for. And this means, let's say you have a child that's born. You have a certain window in which you can go in and add that child to your plan. You don't need to wait until the next enrollment period rolls around. For example, as well, if you are going through a divorce and you reach the point in which you are now able to take your spouse off, can't do that until you reach a certain point. So don't do it too soon. When you reach the point on which you can take your spouse off of that plan, you then have a certain period of time in which that window opens for a qualified event and you can remove that from that plan. If not, you are going to have to wait and you don't have one of these qualifying events. You are going to have to wait until November 1st next year or whenever your open enrollment period is in order to make changes. So do the research now, take a couple of minutes and really think about, okay, here are the big things that matter to me in terms of a health plan. And for everybody, it's going to be different. You might not care that you need to get a referral from a specialist in order to go see a doctor. You might say, oh my goodness, that's the most annoying thing in the world. I want to have flexibility and I want to have choice. From there, you need to decide what is the right health care plan for you. Something that I personally do is I go through and I see I type in my doctors and I type in any prescriptions that I have and I make sure those are covered. That's really where I like to start and to go from there. And then I have a list in my head of, okay, these are the non-negotiables I need within a health plan and other things. Okay, if I had to pay out of pocket for them, it would be annoying or an inconvenience, but it would work out okay. Go through your checklist, go through your head, see what new options are available, and go from there. Just remember, as I said in the beginning of this video, you are never going to be able to make the perfect choice, right? We don't have a crystal ball. You have to work with the information that you have now right in front of you. So do the best you can with what you have, and good luck during this open enrollment season.